Carina,
Katie,
you made a huge change recently.
I did. I cut my hair and you know, I've wanted to for a very long time.
Yeah.
It has been something that was one of my deepest insecurities for a while. And I was known throughout high school as the bun girl. And my student council slogan actually was the bun would get it done.
What? I did not know that. Did you win?
I did win. I got vice president.
That's
Yeah. But in that time, I was so afraid to make a change and I couldn't understand why. And someone told me recently, actually, like hair holds memories.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if have you ever heard that before?
I have heard that.
It's like an insane kind of concept that your hair of all things, but it is like the way you put it up, there's so much expression with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was huge for me because I'm like, God, like I always would just throw my hair up in a bun and I wouldn't think anything of it. I hated the process. I would dread waking up in the morning because I didn't want to put my hair up because I just never felt like it was me. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to think like, how can so I cut my hair. Let me put it this way. I cut my hair and then I was like, wow, I am like this. I feel like this whole new person.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to forget about the past of where I came from because my 15-year-old self that was on the Pinterest board with the haircuts or whatever.
Shout out Alyssa.
Shout out Alyssa, yeah. Like it just was, how can I still remember her and kind of honor her? Mm-hmm. And I had a huge tug of war for a while with that of just like almost not imposter syndrome, but kind of like an identity crisis.
Yeah.
Of who am I? Who have I wanted to be for so long? And I had to kind of shelter for a while because I wasn't able to express myself through hair.
Yeah.
So we talk about, being grateful. I would love to hear your side on it. Kind of like, how can we still honor that past, but kind of grow into who we want to be?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so not like, it's not cute, it's not adorable, it's so respectful of you to look back at your younger self and be like, she was going through it. Like, she was there.
Oh, she was.
She was figuring some things out.
Yeah.
And she's still a part of you, and that doesn't change when you cut your hair off.
Right.
Like, side note, but when you and I met, you had your top knot. My top knot is gone. Mine was on top of my head. Now it's no lot. It's a low knot. But when I met you, you had your bun, and then you cut your hair, what, like 2 months after we started hanging out, I guess?
Probably, yeah. I think
and you're a totally different human in the best way possible. Like, you are so you.
Appreciate that.
And that change is incredible to watch. Sure. But we're still having the same conversations that we had back then. But I'm sure the lead up to your haircut, you were like, everything's going to change. It's going to be worse. Like, I'm not going to be able to be the same Carina. I'm not going to have that same femininity behind me, even though you 1,000% do.
It was really, and that's the thing too, like, especially the looks and stuff like that. Like I've always been confident with how I dress and who I am. It was very hard for me to wrap my head around that I can't hide anymore. Mm-hmm. My hair is out there, it's open, it's short, it's great, but it's almost like I felt like the weight of the world was behind me because I never had that security of I'll get to it. I'll get it done at some point. It was always like, no, I did it. And I'm so proud of that, but I'm also I was so scared and I had so much anxiety after it because it was over, it was done. And similar to maybe, with Reframe 5 Alpha, stuff like that, like we're always like, oh, well, we'll do this maybe 3 months from now, or we'll have this by 6 months. And that lead up is comfortable.
I think the lead up is terrifying.
Really?
Walk me through it. I think we subconsciously or consciously push off decisions and changes that need to be made because it feels so terrifying, but then we end up creating this huge anxiety-ridden lead up to change. Like, there might be a decision, for example, for me, there's a change that needs to happen in my packaging at some point. My internal packaging is not what it needs to be.
Sure.
It's a huge change. It's a big financial but I keep pushing it off because it's a change in the business that I am not quite ready to make. Sure. But that then has an impact on everything that leads up to it. But if I were to just rip the Band-Aid off today, it could be a different story. Like, you just get past it. And I think that anxiety tax that we pay on these decisions, like, you were so scared about cutting your hair, and then you did it, and it was done. It was gone.
It was done. It was done, and I just felt so, I felt so full. It was a weird concept. It was like I felt so full, but so scared at the same time. you know, because it's almost like the unknown of what's to come after that, you know, and especially with like, again, we talk about haircuts, we talk about business, we talk about relationships and people in our lives that come into our lives for certain periods of time and they leave our lives. And I don't know about you. I'm very weary of change.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing for me because I'm very like, my routine is my routine and that's it. And it's been a healthy thing for change. And I think it is healthy, but it terrifies me.
For sure.
How about you? How do you feel about that?
I think I go back and forth on it. Like, I embrace it because I feel very comfortable that if I'm making a decision that's a big change, it's probably something that I've thought through.
Right.
But I also have built up a bank of decisions that have proved to myself that I will make a change that works best for me and that I will be able to get through it. That resilience, that adaptability, you have it too. Like, you've gone through it. I think it's just hard to tap back into that sometimes in your brain. Like, I left running an awesome gym with an incredible community. I dropped it like that to start a business that I had no idea where it was going to go. And it's like a huge freaking change. But I was like, I know that I've also made these changes before. I was a college strength and conditioning coach and dropped that to work general population. Like, you just have to keep looking back and being like, oh, I've done this before. I know that I can do this. It's just hard to tap back into that. But it's nice to talk about it often. Like, talk about the changes that you've been through, that you've gotten through, and it's really been okay. It wasn't that big of a deal.
I couldn't agree more to that. And I think a theme that I want to pull out of what you just said is trusting yourself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, you know, I'm scared for people to leave my life and stuff like that. But I'm also like, wait a second, though. I have me. I know who I am, and I know what kind of foundation I bring to the table for any life.
Absolutely.
And in the sense of, I have to be comfortable with who I am.
For sure.
And being by myself. Because anyone that comes into our lives, or even with a business, if a business comes into our life or a job change, we are in that for a period of time. Everything here, nothing is infinite. Everything's finite. In the least pessimistic way possible.
But it's important to recognize that.
It's important to recognize that. It's important to remind yourself of that I have me. I trust me. And anything that I'm willing to give to someone else is a gift.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is something that they not necessarily have earned in the way of, I am allowing myself to give them that of me, my personality, my character, thoughtfulness, stuff like that. I mean, we're very thoughtful people, I would consider, you know? And I feel like we are so apt to give.
Yeah.
But we also have to remind ourselves there's people that need to earn that right.
Yeah.
Especially with our business too. Like, you know, I want to talk about shirts with anyone, but I want to make sure that person has the right state of mind, right mindset going into it.
Absolutely.
You know?
So you're recently out of college, so young.
Yes.
I mean, it's a huge change to move on. I think for me, looking back, one of the biggest changes in that time period, despite the fact that you all of a sudden are just dropped into the adult world and expected to know what to do, you then have the choice to change the people that are around you in your community, because you just spent years having people in your school community because of proximity, closeness, you're in the same class, you're on the same team.
Right.
Cool, great. Now you have to choose if those are people that you move forward with in life or you don't. And that's a big change that happens when you become an adult, because the community that you have around you now becomes a choice that you have to make. And whether or not they get to deserve all of what you just said is the good qualities about yourself, it's important to realize that a change could be letting some of those people go.
Yes. Moving
on to new friendships. Building, like, we created a friendship in our 20s, which is not something that happens, but
unheard
it was literally unheard of. But it was a conscious choice for us to realize that, like, we were meant to be in each other's lives.
Right.
There's a lot of friends that I've been like, actually, this is going to suck to realize that you're not the person that I text anymore.
Yeah.
But this is what we both have to do to move forward.
And I think when you say that, like 110%, and I agree with everything, and I think letting go doesn't have to be a negative thing. It is in such a way of, with college, right? Like, I will cheer for you silently. I will be a silent cheerleader for you. And if I see you in Acme, of course I want to see how you're doing, right? But we only have so much time in this world, and we need to be with the people that challenge us to think deeper, that push us to be better people, and also just make us happy. And we enjoy being around them. And I think there are so many people that we probably have met in our lives that we love. And it's just proximity wise, hey, we're doing our own thing, stuff like that. I don't see you a lot. But what it really comes down to is creating that inner circle of who can I trust with this? Who can I be there for this? Who's my creative outlet?
Yeah.
And vice versa. How can I be that for them?
Yeah.
And when there's that mutual understanding of where you're at with someone, not every friendship needs to be this extreme best friend energy.
Yeah.
You can have people that you get coffee with every 3 months.
For sure.
Right? Like, it doesn't need to be so stressful and pressure and I need to see them every week or they're never going to talk to me again.
Yeah.
Like, Katie, I mean, we could probably go months without talking and we could hit it off right then and there.
Absolutely.
Hasn't happened. But
no,
yeah.
I hope it never does. But it
No,
could.
but and in the sense of if life gets busy, I know I can trust that you'll be there.
Absolutely.
You know? And it, again, like, you have certain friends for certain things. And if there's a mutual understanding there, it can be a very healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Especially after college or even after a job. You know, I'm sure that you still know some of your gym folks and you still get like, even if gym folks in a way of work, but also in a way of going to the gym.
Absolutely.
If you move gyms, which is a very sad thing.
So sad.
But you can always still connect with them. There's
Yeah.
always that camaraderie there. We shared a life together. We shared a chapter together.
Absolutely.
That doesn't just go away.
It doesn't go away, but I think it's important to realize that sometimes if it does, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, with what we've been talking about, there's going to be a huge change that happens in your life. It can be something that's super important to you, like cutting your hair, like changing your job, like graduating college.
Right.
When you have that base of trust in yourself, which you talked about, and knowing who you are and you're confident in what you bring into the world, when then you're faced with that option of does this person stay or does this person go, it becomes a lot more comfortable to realize that it's the decision that's best for you if it does end up being, I mean, maybe it is something that's not as serious as like they're not a part of my life anymore. Maybe it is you just get coffee here and there when you're in the same town.
Sure.
Or maybe it is like you never talk to them again.
Could be.
But once you have that baseline of like trusting in yourself and knowing that it's going to be okay, it makes those decisions so much easier to do.
1,000%. And again, going back to it doesn't have to be a negative thing. I think in my mind, a lot of times I think letting somebody go or never talking again, or even just not talking for a year or whatever, if they come back into your circle, they're meant to be, they're meant to come back into your circle.
Absolutely.
And I always just like kind of give it up to the universe. And I'm like, I trust whatever's coming for me. Right now, I'm going to do my best to be there for the people in my life. If for whatever reason, a friend of mine from college and I reconnect, that would be a beautiful thing. But I can't force it and I can't put pressure on it. Because I think a lot of times too, we think about, well, they're my college friends. I need to be all up in their business like all the time. Because that's what you do when you're a college friend or even high school. Like, I need high school best friends. Like, and
I talked to maybe 2 people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's the thing. Like, we all grow out of it, but it's okay.
Totally okay.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It's more of a sense of, hey, if we come back into each other's lives, great.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure.
It's when you death grip onto a relationship where you're like, there's just no way that this can end, friendship, relationship, business relationship, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then it's just like pulling you back. Like you're trying to move forward and it's like just literally just holding you in the same place.
Sure.
And you're like, this isn't allowing me to make those changes to get better.
And that death grip, if I can just take it one step further for you, that death grip is all of the fictitious things that you've thought up in the past, maybe have happened or maybe have never happened that you expect to happen. Because I do think a lot of times that expectation is almost as negative or pulls you back even more, is more of a detriment to you than anything else. I have high expectations for our businesses. I think that's pretty healthy to think about. Yeah. But when you expect things from people that have not shown you that yet, you are setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. And that is going to hold you in that position. Yeah. And that was something that was hard for me to understand. But now I can fully see it where I'm like, Carina, what they're showing you is what they are, right? For a lot of things, friends, relationships, family, that is what you need to go off of. Yeah. We can't put this pretty picture on it just because we have so much love and care.
Absolutely.
It's just not going to happen.
You will never reach the level of growth that you need to reach as an individual if you are constantly just making up stories for everybody around you.
Exactly.
It's going to pull you out of your reality, but it's also going to pull the people along beside you that aren't truly there for you.
Also I even say too, with that, on top of that, I keep adding on to your stuff today, and I love it. I love what you're putting down. I love it. Even putting it like excuses for yourself as well.
Yeah.
So with people, but then for yourself, like, oh, I'll get to that because I know I can get it done. Mm-hmm. That's an amazing thing to say to yourself, but will you actually get it done? Yeah. Are you holding yourself to the highest standard?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times with me, I try to hold myself to a really, really high standard, right? And the 10X theory, have you heard of that at all?
Maybe briefly, but explain it to me.
Grant Cardone, he's great. 10X theory, it's a book. Basically, it is like you shoot for 10X what you actually want to accomplish. Mm-hmm. So for me, right, with 5 Alpha, I want to make it the best brand it can be. Maybe my 10X theory is like, I want to have stores in 10 locations around the world. When really, I would be really comfortable with 2 stores. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to shoot for 10.
Yep.
And if I shoot for 10 and I land within that middle range, I was successful.
Yep.
You always want to go above and beyond what you really think you're capable of because you're going to surprise yourself.
Absolutely. I think it's important in recognizing that, since this is like everything we're talking about is the people around us and things like that. If your goal is to aim for 10 and say you're at one location right now, mm-hmm. the people that you are with, whether it's actually in your 5 Alpha company or just support system, the same people that get you to 2 are not going to be able to get you to 10. Just skill set wise.
Absolutely.
And it's not that they don't want you to get there. They might just not actually have the capability to do so.
For sure.
And there's maybe something within you that needs to change as well to get there. Like, I don't have the skill set right now to be able to sell protein bars around the world globally. I do not literally have the knowledge inside of my brain to be able to do that. So there's going to have to be some sort of change. Someone's going to have to come in and give me that knowledge in order to get there. Because I will set that 10X goal.
Absolutely.
Like, I will be selling protein bars
absolutely
around the world.
Hell yes.
But maybe nationally, in the middle range there, still something's going to have to change. There's going to have to be some sort of momentum internally and extrinsically with my environment around me in order to get there.
100%. And reaching that level of, I will say, do it better, doing mm-hmm. it better, right? Every day, how can I exceed the level to which I feel like I can? And this goes for the gym too. So it's like, it's not healthy maybe sometimes physically to be 10X all the time, mm-hmm. but I want to hear your theory on this because I go to you a lot with more of the exercise stuff. You're like the hub for me
for sure.
of questions. So I would love to hear kind of what you think. What's the healthiest way of going about it in the gym?
So to clarify, you're saying not setting yourself for that 10X goal every time you walk in the gym? Because
I'm like, yeah, and it's woof.
But I think we talked about this actually in the gym a little bit the other day.
We did.
Because intensity and consistency are 2 things that get thrown around a lot mm-hmm. in terms of fitness and nutrition and health and keeping yourself on track.
For sure.
Consistency, smaller goals, 2X type progressions in the gym obviously are going to be great for you. Sometimes life gets crazy. In my opinion, sometimes you got to reach for that 10X because the intensity is the only thing you have when you can't keep that consistency piece rolling when life is a little bit crazy. But I think you can look at intensity in the sense of effort, like presence in the gym. If you are just being consistent doesn't always mean you're putting in the amount of effort you need to in order to see progress. You can consistently go to the gym and not actually push yourself hard enough to make any progress anyway, versus hitting it with the intensity that you need to is just putting in the effort. So it's like, if I can't get to the gym 5 days in a week, which is what we quote unquote see as consistently, but I can get there 2 times a week and rip it, as we say.
Yes.
Like, that intensity is effort and it's presence, and that's the day when the headphones are in, and that doesn't even mean the heaviest load that you've ever put in.
100%.
It's just the maximum amount of effort that you can put in for that day.
And I find that too with even diets, fad diets. Yeah. I've never done a diet in my life.
Yeah.
I will never do a diet in my life because those things they're not a lifestyle change. It is a very, and this is a deep hole we could get into.
It's a deep
which
hole.
We might have to
it's
do on
the whole episode. It's the whole episode. It's a series, actually.
It is a series. It would be a series. But in the way of, and we can quickly brush over it, but I need this to be a lifestyle change for me to mm-hmm. serve me. Mm-hmm. Not everything that we see online is going to serve my body where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
And I know I'm putting a tee with a golf ball on it and you're about to drive it home. So
I would be so ready to take off with it, but I think this would turn into like a 3-hour-long podcast. But I like what you just said with, it's not setting you up for a sustainable life change. And what we're talking about today is changes and the growth that comes from it and the things that hold you back.
Yes.
putting yourself in a rabbit hole with the gym and with nutrition and holding yourself to a textbook PDF file program that you just follow line by line no matter how you feel, or a diet because you saw it online, that is one of those things, like those people in your life that are holding your hand back and not letting you get to where you truly need to be.
Yes.
And it applies in so many areas of life.
100%.
You cannot let those things hold on to you. And unfortunately, media does that with fitness and nutrition right now because people speak so confidently in whatever diet or program that they're selling, where they're like, trust me, you need me to be the person that gets you from A to F in your life. But they're not the one. It just feels so scary to let go of them because they speak so confidently about it.
I think when people speak indefinites about everything,
Yes.
you get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this, what if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
You just lied to me.
Literally.
But it really is not. It's like, that's going to work for them and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's something that I love about fitness and health is how gray it truly is in terms of what works and what doesn't, because you can have someone walk into one gym and get incredible results and someone walk into a gym that does something completely different and get incredible results, but it's just because they put in the effort.
Exactly.
Like, that's literally just what it is.
Yes.
But, you know, people have to sell their stuff. So, like, I understand that you have to speak that your way is the way. Sure. But I do think it just does such a disservice across the board because people you could be at a gym and be getting results for a certain amount of time because of newbie gains or whatever, and then you're scared to change and move on to the next place because they've told you that they're the only gym that's ever going to get you results. And then it's like, well, now we're not even doing things to help people get better. We're just doing it for our business. And that sucks. Like, that's not right.
And it's holding you here.
It's holding you there.
And you will not move until you change or you try to change and try something new. And again, from a person of habit, speaking to other people of habit, probably that are listening to this, I understand you are scared. And I am scared as well. I was scared to cut my hair, circling it back here for a second. But I did it, and I feel like such a new person. And guess what? If it doesn't work, I can always grow my hair back out. Well, never. Or you could just dial it back and start from where you were and go a different path. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a military thing real quick because this is interesting. So when you're navigating in the woods, trying to find your spot, there's a thing called resection and then like finding your way back.
Okay.
So if you get lost in the woods, you can actually find your way back to where you came from and then reset and then go a different way.
Oh, cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's actually more fascinating than I just explained it. But it's a way for you to kind of reset your orientation and then go a different route. And there's nothing wrong with that.
You can literally always go another
Life
route.
is too short.
Yeah.
And you need to try things. You need to get out there. You need to meet new people because you never know what doors and what experiences are going to open up for you. And again, our friend Reba connected us.
Yeah.
I reached out to you on Instagram and look where we are now, you know? So it's just like
Something that needed to happen.
something that needed to happen. But if we didn't take that jump to talk to each other, this would have never happened.
Literally
right?
never.
So we have to embrace change. We have to welcome it. And we have to welcome the new experiences that are coming into our lives.
I agree. Carina, to wrap this up, I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Should people cut their hair?
Absolutely. Listen, if you are considering it, I would 100% shoot me a DM, text me if you have my number, and I would be happy to talk to you about it because it is so much deeper. At least for me, it was so much deeper than I actually thought emotionally. And it is one of the most life-changing things in the sense of I can go into my car and just air dry my hair and fit. And you could do that with long hair, but for me, it's just
not as easy.
It's not as easy, but it was. I have fun styling my hair now.
Yeah,
you know, and,
that's incredible.
And you got to have fun with your hair. You got to have fun with your appearance and like mess around with it a little bit. So never a bad thing. You can always grow it back out if you need to. But
It always comes back.
I highly recommend though. So yeah.
I love you.
Love you too. See ya.